Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome to Coffee Time with Coach Y'all. In the building. Cups raised. First of all, let's have a first swallow of the morning. I think you should start every morning with a swallow before you get into whatever you want to talk about. My song of the day is David Ruffin, My Whole World Ended. If you don't know the song, I'm advising you to go on YouTube and pick up the song. My Whole World Ended. David Ruffin has to be one of my favorites, one of my all-time favorites. I mean, it's up there. So Lovely, back to Lovely. What I was saying was I saw, yes, I'm on YouTube, Lovely. Yes, I'm on YouTube. Always on YouTube. If I'm on live, I'm coming on YouTube. That's just what it is. I prefer YouTube. I like the interaction better than just on IG, but because some people want to just stay on IG, and that's fine, I'll just keep them on IG. What up, love? So listen, the video. So first of all, Lovely, I have to call you because I want to talk about, but Lovely, when you coming on my show? I got to figure out when you're coming on. I don't think we set a date yet. Did we set a date? Because if we did, I didn't send a video. I need you on. I need you on like ASAP. I should have pulled you on today. Um, I'm trying to get comfortable here. Something's not right on my seat. So I have some footage and stuff that I took of my two daughters to, interacting, and my oldest daughter was feeding my baby girl and laughing, and just I took pictures and video. Lady Brian in the building, good morning. I took video of them, and I have some plans of what I want to do with the footage, and it falls right in line with what you was doing. I'm available today. Just let me wake up. wake. Let me know, and I'll tell you what, I'll send you a link through IG now, and then that way, if you do decide to come through, if you can just hit the link and come on through. But there's some stuff I want. There's some stuff I like to talk about with you anyway, so that's cool. I'll bring you on. And like I said, I'm going to get back to having my guests on and stuff too. I have plenty of scheduling stuff I have to do, and I just haven't had the. It's been kind of off with the guests that I want. Never mind, just came on. Okay. Yes, I'm always on YouTube. Yes, I'm always on YouTube. I prefer no pause in the building. I prefer the YouTube the interaction is a little better for me than with the phone. So I have some ideas, but Lovely, what I was saying was, Shirley, good morning to you. The manner by which you deliver your poetry, I've always loved. Always been a fan of yours. You know that. And the video was just hearing your voice was very soothing and relaxing. And then to hear someone love themselves or talk about loving themselves is like it's like the greatest thing. There's nothing better in the world for somebody to tell their self that they love them. Like, look in the mirror. I tell you, like, when I leave here, once I get off the show, I tell everybody, find a way to love yourself today. Looking back at the comments, always great. Good. I'm glad you're great. I always tell people, find a way to love yourself. And it's some people, they're challenged with that. I don't say they're struggling with it. They're challenged with that because they have things that had happened in lives. And we're not going to be sad today. We're going to enjoy today, right? We're going to embrace today. We're going to embrace this moment. And we're just going to love today. I just want to keep the word. Somebody type that in there. Somebody type it in there. The word for today is love, right? My tattoo on my arm, it says, "Jah just live." That's love. That's love. Yvette Goodrich, good morning to you. Good morning. Yes, the word of the day is love. And I don't care what that self-love looks like, right? Thank you, Venus. Tell me what self-love looks like to you. Everybody, type what self-love looks like to you. We want to focus on self-love. And I'm saying this for a reason, right? Regardless to what your holiday events or shenanigans were, right? Good and bad and sour. There's always a reason for you to love you. And we have to learn to find reasons to love ourselves every day. You know what I'm saying? Love yourself just because there's a song that makes your heart sing. You know, love yourself because there's something that you heard on the radio or saw on TV or movie that you watched that reminded you how amazing you are. You know, and I think we need to practice more of that, right? I want to do what I'm going to do as a result of what I'm saying today. The word today is love. Yes, Yvette, I want to put that right there. I want to I'm not going to do a writing. I'm not going to do what I call a writing workshop. Great word. Venus is the goddess of love. Let's go, Venus. Um, I'm not going to do a master class. And what I'm going to, it's not going to be the next thing because I have projects, master classes that's going to be, I'm going to reveal them really shortly with what I'm doing with those. But what I am going to do is Tuesdays are going to be a writing session that I'm going to offer for a small fee, available on Zoom. And we're going to focus on those things, self-love, what does that mean? And how do we write about self-love? So I'm going to pick topics that are easy for some and not so easy for others. However, we're going to make sure that those topics, actually resonate within your own person. Good morning, Ida Mae. Because I want people to understand how important it is to find a way to fall in love with yourself. You can't love somebody wholeheartedly if you can't share some of that space within your heart for yourself. Because you're with yourself all day, every day. And we have to learn to teach ourselves that. And so I'm going to do some writing class. I'm not going to call them workshops, but I guess they are workshops too. We're just writing exercises. We call them. I'm going to make up exercise Tuesdays or something. And what we're going to do is you don't have to be a poet. You don't have to be a great, fantastic writer. You don't have to be a published person, a published author. It's just you just come in and we're going to talk and we're going to write and we're going to go over some things that written from the heart. Good morning to you. We're going to go over some things that promote self-love and things like that. And then we're going to talk about, different topics, but I'm going to start off with that. And self-love is always going to be a major thing. And I've struggled with that. I was challenged with that for some time, and I know others have. And I want to make that a beautiful thing. Daybreak, good morning to you. Good mental health for me. Time alone, prayer, writing, and shower. Okay, listen, Daybreak, it's awesome. The key is Vicky Rowe in the building. What's good? The key is E. Cole in the building. What's good? The key is finding out what you need. Kendra, good morning. Finding out what you need, right? And finding out how you love. People love in different ways and different things. Creating affirmations. Yes, Ida Mae. And people, if y'all welcome to come on my YouTube channel. You can go through your phone for YouTube Live too, CoachJahSmalls, and because I can see your comments better on YouTube. But I keep IG up for people who want to just or can't get on YouTube to stay on IG. That's fine. It is important that we love ourselves before loving others. Absolutely, Teresa Bryant. And what we forget is that you can't fully appreciate loving someone or receiving love without knowing what that is and how do you receive love, right? People do things differently. Some people give flowers, some people write notes, some people cook meals, some people come, need to run errands. Love language is so different. But I want to start talking about our self-love language. What is that? What does that mean? How does that feel? And it could be simple as playing your favorite song, dancing in the mirror, sitting on your front porch, having some coffee or tea, all of those things. And what I want to do is every Tuesday, I'm going to hold a session. And, you come to the session and we're going to talk about, those topics that help us move forward. But we're going to start off with self-love. And that's the kind of energy that I want to surround what I'm going to do on Tuesday. It's going to be great. It's going to be great. I was going to do the open mics again, but there's so many open mics. I don't think that's necessary. However, what I will do from the Tuesday night, right, I will do this. If there are poets who write poems in those sessions, I will do a special open mic on YouTube, and I'll bring you one by one on the YouTube channel to actually say your poems, and this way you'll have it. You can have it for later on. I will, depending on how they go, I will. I may post them on YouTube, the whole class, but we'll see. People misunderstand what self-love is. Really is. Narcissism can be given so many negative connotations that we haven't taken time to know what it means to ourselves. Very true. Very true. Very true. Welcome, Vicky. Thank you for coming through. Very cool. Very true, man. That's the whole thing. Like a lot of times, I think, uh, right, narcissism is different from self love. It is. It is. It is. But I understand what he's saying because there's in that right in that there's somebody define narcissism or narcissist in that desire or to want to be right and correct all the time. Um, can give you what you need for whatever your self-love method is. So I don't knock people for the way they receive self-love unless it's hurting someone else, right? Or hurting themselves. Like you have to find out what it is that allows you to um, reap the benefits of self-love without being, detrimental or destructive or harmful to someone else or whatever their space is. And so you got to get in your own space in your own way, but not at someone else's expense. You know what I mean? Like that's when it becomes an issue. That's when it becomes bigger than what it is. Yes, music is one of my favorites. You can't love someone truly if you don't love yourself. Very true, Kendra. Very true. And that's the whole thing. What does that mean? Right? Tell somebody, type in the feed what you do to show your self-love. Like how do you love yourself? What does that mean? What does that sound like to you? Um, Getting a professional massage just to relax my mind and body. Now, if I had a man that massage, that would be yeah. Now listen, Teresa Bryan, very true, very true. Hope One, what's good? Good morning to you. Thanks for coming in. We're talking about self-love. We're talking about what that sound like for each individual. Everybody loves differently. The love language is different, but let's talk about self-love and the importance of self-love. Let's talk about that. Um, um, if you don't love, if you don't understand what love is or how you love yourself, good morning, Juicy. If you don't understand that, then how can you give it? You know what I mean? How can you give it? How can you give something that you've yet to understand? Right? Because if you don't understand it, how do you know you experienced it? Or at what level did you experience it? Shelley says, nothing is using people manipulatively, definitely hurting others and getting what you want, filling the empty, incomplete spaces of self by the negative and positive reactions and emotions of right when like I said, no Paul, when it affects others in a negative fashion, absolutely, I'm that's not what we want to do. Spend alone time with myself, getting to know what I want and need. Absolutely, Shirley. I think many people do love others more than themselves. They do. And that's most of the time it's because they haven't learned how to love themselves. You change spots. I see you in your, I see, I did. Yeah, that's my kungas. I have two of them. I have the bass one and I have another one that's, I guess, more like the snare. I have two. And I'm starting to play them again and getting back into that. So thank you for being all in my house, Juicy, and telling people on my screen what you see in my house. Um, Show myself love comes with time, taking time for solitude. Absolutely, absolutely. Vicky says, I give myself permission to rest. Yes, come on. I usually like to schedule things for myself, especially in the midst of a project, but being able to pull myself away from from that when I'm getting exhausted is love. That is absolute love. In fact, I was just having a conversation about that, Vicky. That is something that I'm learning. That is something that I'm learning. I seldom pull away from what I know I need to do or what I just want to do in projects and things like that. And that is not showing myself self-love. That is in fact doing the opposite. And I have to, and this is this is one thing that I love about coming on live, is to tell you all, it's kind of like I give you a look into my world, right? And I'm telling you things that I'm working on for myself. Good morning to you, beautifully divine, beautiful divine. Ida May says, self-love, giving what you need, rejecting bad habits and codependency. Yes, Ida May, come on, talk to me. Vicky says, same. I'm just learning as well, but it's so effective. It is. It is. It is. Okay, lovely. It is. And then when you're practicing self-love, what I've learned, right? because I've done it. I had to do it sometimes, so I would not have made it. When you're practicing self love, it becomes second nature until you start neglecting it, and then you realize that you're neglecting it because you're overwhelmed with things and you don't really know how to react and respond to things that you normally would be just fine with. But self love is very important. It is very important. You cannot make it but so far without self love. And so I want to know, everybody, I want to know what is that is. Name some things. Just throw them out there. What does self love look like for you? What does that look like? Some people like to cook, right? Some people like to eat. Kendra said it's internal work. Okay, let me see. It's internal work. What you say to yourself about yourself, what you feel about the body before the message. Yes. How you appreciate the hand before them. Yes, Kendra, come on now. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. And I just think we don't pay enough time to it, right? Right. A nice run, right? A nice jog, right? That's perfect. And we miss that so much because we just don't take the steps. Seeing and accepting yourself through the eyes of God. Now, Kendra, I'm going to say this because even then, even before you go to that point, right? For people who are religious, people who are spiritual, even before you get to that point, it has to be a self thing. Self has to see it because self has to. So if you go into your creator and or saying that, my creator loves me, I know that my creator loves me, you have to see something in you first. So it's an internal thing, like you said. It has to be inside first before it can be outside. In fact, a lot of what I've said a lot about religion, I don't like when religion does not teach you that God is so external. Because if he's not internal, if it's not an internal presence, then we've missed it. What's up, brethren? We've missed it, right? We externalize God to the point where we're separated from and we're trying to get to. Whatever your creator is, right? However you celebrate what your creator or creation is, whatever manifested you here, it's internal more than external. And we continuously make it so external that it seems like it's foreign. And I think that's many part of a problem that we have with religion and the way we learn religion, because it's an external thing and it's not, it can't be. Every religious practice, even if it's not believing in a one God, if it's believing in universe, if it's believing in energies, whatever that is, it's still internal first. And we keep making it so external that it becomes almost foreign to our person. And that is absolutely unjust. Um, Learning to love my body through every stage, knowing I'm a constant work in progress, but celebrating that daily. Right. And so on top of that, Vicky, what that says is that you accomplish something every day. Every day that you allow yourself to think that you've already accomplished something. There's already a goal. And so um it should take you in, lovely. It should tell you that you're in the studio and you're in the backstage of the studio and just keep clicking and following through. It'll bring you to me. Um, it should bring it to me. But that's what it is. We have to stop. We have to remember those small victories, right? It's the small victories that we must celebrate. It's not always the big ones. It's the little ones. I always say, what is love or being in love? It's not a one thing. It's a million little things, and that's what love is. There she goes. Speaking of love, lovely. What's up?
What's good? How
How
are
you
you?
doing? I'm good. You
Good
so
morning.
you see how energies work. I talk about self love, something that you've been working on and practicing for so long, and here you are, right?
Shay,
That's the key.
yes, I'm here for it. Definitely here for it.
I
But
think
I
we
agree with
all.
everything that I've seen thus far,
Mhm.
like in the chats and what you've been saying. Self love is definitely doing the internal work. I like that response. Uh, Shadow work is important because when you can love your darker side, the lighter side is easy to love, but it's the darker side that you got to work on.
Yeah,
And being intentional about loving yourself and doing the work necessary. Sorry, my children are in the back
that's fine. That's fine.
making noise, but being intentional about loving those darker places.
Yeah,
That's when you start to heal.
Yeah.
That's when things start to shift and change. At least what I've seen. And
Hmm.
salute to everybody that's here. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning. Good morning. But yeah, whew, it's
Yeah.
been an up and down battle. You know me, I'll disappear for a little bit in my life, right?
I used to be so worried when you disappeared.
Mm,
But then I realized that again, that's the self-love part, right?
right,
I had to realize if you don't disappear, that sometimes you get overwhelmed and then you don't know how to respond to what's already happening that's out of your control.
right.
So when I
And
knew you disappearing, I said, okay, when she come back, the lights on again, right?
the
It's like
lights
a power
on,
nap
yes,
coming back.
definitely, definitely. And I in the latter years, I should say, like I tell people, like, and I've been like this for a long time, since probably college years, really. Um, when I'm pulling away, it's not that I don't love you. It's not that I don't care about you or what you got going on, but
Mhm.
there's things that I'm working through
Right.
that in order for me to show up for you 110%, I have to make sure they're together. And if not, and and I'm very vocal and open about things I've gone through, dealt with, um, situations within myself and externally. Um, and I am very protective of those I love. So, um, me taking care of me is me also protecting those around me, is keeping that energy away from you, being mindful that if I'm in this space, I need to remove myself from those that may not be in that same zone. And right, that disappearing feeling, right? It's like you just have to sometimes accept it, and sometimes it's hard, sometimes it's long, sometimes it's a year, sometimes it's a couple of days, sometimes it's a week, a couple months. Like, you get through what you need. And when it's time to reemerge, you do. And it's no different than how a tree has to, go into that sleep state and heal, and the leaves fall off. And when it comes back in spring, it's even more beautiful than the year before. So that's how I take it. We are just like nature, and nature can teach us so much
Hmm.
um, about ourselves and
Yeah.
how we grow and experience stuff. So yeah, I'm definitely grateful to be slowly venturing back out,
Hmm.
and just being mindful of my connections
Yeah.
and how they affect me,
Yeah.
and how interactions with people. I protect my peace at all costs now.
Yeah.
At all costs. That is something that I learned in the last year.
Mhm.
Protect your peace
I
by
hear,
any
yeah.
means necessary.
In your testimony, if you would. Now, I hear sometimes it's long, sometimes it's short, but it's always it just is. I
Hmm.
think that's the part that it just is. And I
Yep.
think we run from that it just is moment, right? Because we're expecting something else without listening to what just is in this moment, and we don't take enough
Facts.
time for that.
Facts.
And
And
that's why I
and
said,
and embracing the process, like
yeah.
nothing that is created came easy. So undoing things, whatever, patterns, loving yourself, you take time. Children, it's just they loud. But anyway, you take that time to like see every part, to undo certain things, to put yourself around the right people.
Yeah.
Sometimes you get accustomed and complacent with being around people that are energy vampires. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Uh, and being an empath, for those that are, being someone that is called to, I say called to the light, or being a light worker or something like that. Like, you have to be mindful of those things. You got to be mindful of what you feed yourself. And that's not just food, but just energy, spirit, people, things.
Mhm.
And I'm learning.
Yeah,
I am
yeah.
learning, but I'm grateful. Like I'm really, really grateful that everything that I've gone through has brought me to where I am now. And those people that are still in my life now,
Hmm.
that weathered the storm with me,
Yeah, yeah.
um, those are the people that I respect most and love. And those that are no longer present, I don't hold any like ill will or anything. Like I'm grateful for every person and experience and just life lesson I've received up until now. And
I
I feel like that's a part of self love,
yeah.
um, because when you hold on to those negative energies or those I don't know what the word is, just like just hateful, hurtful, just negative energy, like what is that doing? It does nothing but hurt you. Then you find out you got cancer. You find out, your health's failing. You got all these issues
Yeah.
because you holding on to something from 20 years ago. Let
I
it
always
go.
say every transfer of energy may not be good, but it's still necessary.
I saw this young lady, and I'm gonna shout her out because I just love her. Deisha, I am spiritual coach on. She's on TikTok, but I've connected with her, and she put a post out and was talking about transmuting that energy. And
Mm,
when I tell you it resonated so well with me, because people can have ill intention and bring a negative vibe to you, but
yes.
you can take that energy and recreate a different experience. You can use it for your good and apply it however you need it to your life. If somebody says you're not gonna be nothing or
Mm,
that book ain't gonna sell,
yeah.
become a the best book author, whatever, seller, all that stuff, like take that energy and fuel yourself
Yeah.
and propel yourself forward, and you'll find that nothing can keep you from achieving what you want in life.
Mm,
Nothing can It's really that bad.
yeah.
And the last 2 to 3 years of my life have been nothing but trial, and I have to remind myself, or had to remind myself, in those small little ounces where the light was still there,
Hmm.
to have faith, to trust God, to know that this too shall pass, all those good phrases and
Yeah.
sayings and
Yeah.
scriptures and stuff.
Yeah.
And even when I was in my darkest spaces, God always sent some kind of sign, some kind of revelation, like I got you.
Yeah.
And I don't know who you believe in, everybody believes in something different. I don't care if you put faith in a rock. If that rock brings you salvation and peace of mind,
Go
carry
ahead.
that rock with you. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
I don't knock it.
So in
Absolutely.
this moment, you look
Mhm.
so much like your mom right now. Oh my gosh. I
I
feel like I'm
receive
talking
it.
to your mom right now. Like,
I
yeah.
receive it. I
How's she
receive
doing?
it. She's doing okay.
I want to yeah, so bad, but I just
It's always a journey with
yeah.
mom. But right now she's doing okay, and continue blessings and love and all that stuff. For those that know her, definitely we receive it and we are grateful. Uh, it's weird because a couple months ago I had to remove her locks, so
Oh, you
it's
did?
like, yeah, but
Oh,
I'm slowly getting her to like allow me to reattach them. So I just got to get through that phase, and then because she says she wants them back now. Because at first she was like, "Oh, I like this fro is working," but she saw me do my hair, so she was like, "I want to, get my locks." So
your hair looks
it's all
beautiful,
good.
by the way. It's getting so
Thank you.
long.
I appreciate it. Listen,
So you
little
don't
bit
have
of
pictures
love and
when your hair was like
extension
this
love.
long. You know what I mean? When your hair was like, when your locks was like that long, I still have pictures
Right.
from that.
Right. Listen, that was when I was doing the slam. Every time I see those pictures, I'm like, oh Lord, look at my hair, it's so short.
So let me say this, right? Um, um, so for RDM, you don't have so many of our practice videos recorded.
Oh
That was
yeah.
when you and V had the office. So
Wow.
back then, until yeah.
Right. Right.
Part of what I want to do with the documentary is I'm trying to get us together, and I'm gonna get the projector and project it on the wall, probably at the Charlotte Arts League. have us
Okay.
go there so I can do that to prepare everybody for the interviews that I want to do. But there's
Nice.
footage with your mom in it. I still have.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
yeah.
made me
Okay.
cry.
So
Yeah,
I'm very
that's what's
excited.
up. Yeah.
I'm very excited about that.
Yeah. Like she's been doing good though.
Yeah,
Like we
yeah.
came into the new year, enjoying life, laughing,
Hmm.
sipping little sparkling juice. And I don't know, she's just been good. She does have some small things that are I'm looking into,
Hmm.
but she's still lively. We still sing, we still create. So I think that's always gonna be a good time.
She don't have a choice but to be lively. Like I don't see her ever being like just whatever.
Mm-mm.
She
Listen,
brings
she
that
got
energy.
jokes all the time. All
Yeah.
the time. All the time. I'm like, Ma, really? And then she'll just bust out laughing. So
All I'm saying is that I need my wangs.
listen, just let me know. I don't mind. Like y'all know I don't cook, but I'll do some wings.
Listen, I was like, I miss the parties at your crib. I miss those so bad. Like I miss those more than I miss the practices. Audio
Yeah,
practice
yeah.
is always crazy, right? We always had to get
Listen, I miss the kickbacks too. I'll probably figure out a way to do like smaller ones where it's just like, that way we can still social distance and keep the
and tell
energy,
everybody to bring
right.
a can of Lysol.
Right. Listen, I keep it at the door.
No,
But
everybody need to bring a can.
listen,
After you
okay. I
laugh
got
twice,
gloves, mask, thermometer, what you need. I have individual hand sanitizers for anybody across the door. Take this with you.
take this hard last.
listen,
Got to spray. Shh. You know what I mean?
listen.
Yeah.
Let me get you right.
I'm so sick of this new normal, but I've grown
I
in so
love it.
many areas with it.
I love it
Yeah.
because believe it or not, I'm not one for crowds. Like I know I do poetry and I go out because of poetry, but like going somewhere like the other day, shout out to Reddit 28, went out Valentine's Day over there and like seeing it not packed but still full enough to get a nice experience. I was content with that.
Yeah.
I don't know. Sometimes we pile ourselves on top of each other, and it's like, who really is here? So, you know, but I don't know. I like it, and I like that people are more mindful of germs and things
Yes.
and
Because people don't wash
hygiene
their
and
damn hands. It's
the
how you wash it.
importance of that. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised because before this, people were not being mindful. But being a caregiver, you're always mindful. You're always like,
Yeah.
I am always like, if my mom sneezes, rubs her nose one too many times, I'm on it. Like, no, she hasn't been sick. She never got COVID, praise God.
Hmm.
Myself either. Like, no, no, no. And I'm grateful because I know everybody hasn't had that same experience. But
Right.
I don't mind doing my soup. My soup. I'll do my soup for anybody that asks. So you buy the ingredients, I'll cook it up. That'll be my it's my contribution to your
Yeah.
wellness.
I cannot wait. Because I have the artist in residence position. There's something I'm forcing RDM to do something. Y'all, I'm not letting RDM get away.
Of
You
course,
should
wait
not
a
have.
minute.
Listen, I'm
You
forcing.
ain't got, we got your
I'm,
back. So
I'm gonna be
RDM,
real
that's one
aggressive.
thing I love about RDM. We are a family. Like we
Listen,
are a family. Yeah, all of that.
I am so grateful that RDM we are the way we are because we were that way before RDM. That's what made it so great. And even
Yep.
though people come in, and even if people were able to be a part of the team, they couldn't make the commitment, and so we stayed such, and we got so much tighter after
Yes.
after 2016 with BlackBerry. I
Yep.
think everything
It
changed,
came together. Definitely. Yep.
and
Because
I got
it's
to give
like
it up.
we also broke the ice of like we've been around each other, we've hung out to the wee hours of the morning, but when
Mhm.
you spend the night with someone, when you in that same space, when you smell their morning breath,
Yeah,
it changed the game. You know what I'm saying? And then it also with each experience, whether whoever could be there amongst the people, um, it builds a bond that's unconditional.
Yeah.
You know, even if it goes without saying, it just, you know, that love is there. No matter where you go, no matter how you uh, grow,
Yeah.
it's like at the end of the day, I never forget those experiences with y'all. Riding to Louisville, going to Greensboro, you know, even just the few hours I spent with y'all in Fayetteville. Listen, San Antonio changed my whole life. Okay,
Oh,
everybody
wow.
know that.
Everybody.
that boy, you know, so I'm grateful for it. If
Lovely.
nothing else, I'm grateful for it, you
You
know.
remember in the restaurant in Greensboro, and I said that guy looked like he licked armpits. we had a host that looked like he licked armpits. He just looked,
Listen, Greensboro. I never forget the park. We're not gonna go there.
right,
No,
right,
we're
right,
gonna
right.
go there.
But
The
remember the
park,
bad biscuits?
man. Me and V was talking about that the other day. Oh my god, them biscuits left a lasting impression. It's been 4, 5, 6, whatever years, and I still remember them biscuits. That thing was the size of a pan. That was wild. Yo, thank you, Jay. Yo. Yo, listen, shout out to Shane because Shane is awesome. You know, she's doing these poetry videos right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the privilege of being in the second one, the one she
Oh
just
my God.
did.
Yes.
And she has the greatest weapons. I like, it's like going into her house is like going into time, you know, like a time capsule. And she had this iridescent sword that was everything. And I put some pictures out, but I need to put some more because when I tell you, I was so drawn to that. I was just like, oh my God. Everything in her house is just amazing. And then to go in there and see, like, I wrote her a poem years ago. Like, you know how I do my love notes, you know?
I still
And
have
I'm like, yo, she had it on her refrigerator. Like, yo, that's so cool. And like art and stuff around, man. So, but shout out to her, yes, Jay. That sword is life. And you, Jay, was killing it too. I was like, oh, okay, Jay, I see you, bro. I've stayed all day.
I have so much that I want to share, but I have to wait till things happen. But there's some things that I want to share that I'm bringing. You know, RDM is always, I always reach the RDM first. I don't give a damn who. I'm gonna tell you, you can have your number one poet in the world sitting right next to me. I still call RDM first and be like, look, this
I
is what
feel
it
you.
is. Now let me know if you can't, and then I'll move forward.
Right, and then I'll go back to the people. Thanks.
I used to,
I will say that is true about you. Like you hold your people down. You hold your people down.
I'll be like,
And
look,
I
I don't have no money, but I'm trying to put you in this space.
listen.
Let's see what we can do.
At the end of the day, you are mindful that it takes like all of us to rise. You know what I mean? And if more people would take on that concept, we'd all be in a different light. And I'm not saying that it's not happening because I think the virtual life has allowed a lot of bridges to be created,
Mhm.
and opportunities that some people may not have had otherwise.
Mhm.
So I'm grateful for that. And I'm grateful for people like yourself that are taking the different aspects of your life, the different avenues and people you've connected with, and you're bringing them together. I can't wait for the drive-in to kick back in again.
Yeah.
I'm Lord willing, you know, that's a thing still. But you know, that I hear people talk about that like they don't even know I know you, but like, yeah, this guy John, you know, I'm like, ah, yes. You know, I like it literally happened the other day. I was in the store and ran into a poet. And he said that. I was just like, oh yeah, that's the fam right there. That's my
I'm gonna
bro.
tell you, the drive-in, the drive-in it may have another short lifespan coming up, maybe around National Poetry Month.
Bet.
The drive-in is graduating to something that, oh my God, I want to tell you so bad. It's graduating to
We
something.
had to talk later.
What the drive-in is graduating to is going to make me so emotional because it's something that I've wanted for so long. And
Mm,
to have access to what I want, what I've desired, what I wanted to see.
What you've been manifesting for so long. I feel you.
But you know what? I wanted it, but I don't know if I was ready for it then.
Mm,
I can say now I'm ready for it. A
yeah.
lot of I've mentioned years ago, I said this is what I see, this is what I want. A lot of those things are happening now. We're putting together. We're trying to put together a tour that's going to go from
Mm.
North
You
Carolina.
know that's happening because I already dreamt that. So you already know that's a go.
Listen, not only is it happening, but the grant is being written right now.
Yes.
Okay,
I
we're
received
going to
that.
go from North Carolina to New
Mm.
Mexico,
Yes.
and
I'm here
so
for it.
oh my gosh,
And
it's so
that's listen, that's wild because in the space we were in the West, like Texas going that way. So
yes, yes,
you
yes.
already know I'm here for it.
There is so much that this pandemic sent me in a panic. I'm gonna tell you,
Mm.
we were shutting things down, right? I think it was the second Friday in March. I was
Oh yeah.
supposed to do something with I was supposed to be on a panel and performing for Kevin Love from the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Hornets.
Okay.
That Friday, everything shut down Wednesday, so Friday
Mm.
never came. When I tell you, I was
That's a pain right there.
depressed like
Friday never
hell.
came.
Like I didn't know what to do, and so I sat on my sofa so long, my back was hurting. I would just
Wow.
get up and sit on my sofa. I didn't have nothing, 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 nothing. And then the pandemic is going. Moody Black midday open mic starts, and we started going in there. And it's like once that midday open mic started really happening, everything started happening. We started
Mm.
doing workshops, started doing open mics, started doing all this stuff. I met so many people. I performed in Australia. I performed on a live for a company that had 1.17 million people watching. The biggest crowd I've been in front of was close to 400 people live, right?
Yeah.
Close to 400 people live. But I was on a live that 1.17 million people were
It
watching.
changes things. It
What?
changes things. Yeah.
Now, mind you, I didn't know
Yeah.
at the time until after it was over, and it was like, do you know you just performed in front of 1.17 million people? What? How did? And I'm talking about across the world. It's like
Yeah.
I performed in Africa, I performed in Australia, I performed in Canada from my
Mm.
home, but I met so many amazing people. And what I realized with this pandemic, it wasn't a setback; it was a complete set up. And if you
Yes.
hadn't done that, that's because you've been sitting down, not doing any work.
Facts.
There
That
is so
is
much
so
to
true.
cover,
Yep.
you know? And I'm
A
just like,
lot of people are tapping into their gifts, whatever that looks like. They're taking chances. They're whether they lost their job or quit their job, they're taking leaps of faith to do the things that they love and have desired for so long. And if nothing else, I'm grateful for that because um, even in my own life, I may not have seen everything, done everything with caregiver life and so forth, but being in this space has allowed me to create the way that I want to create when I want to create. You
mhm,
know, so seeing people tap into that type of energy and reach platforms like yourself, it's beautiful, it's dope, it's cool. It's seeing people who never performed before, like wouldn't perform on the stage, but they'll join a live. You
yeah,
know, they'll send that request. Those are things that I respect and love about everything. And then art itself has saved the world. I don't care what nobody say. Art is and has saved the world, like on so many different levels,
yeah,
even spiritually. Like people are tapping into more spiritually based stuff as opposed to just strict religious type things, you
right,
know.
right, right.
And I think that's dope. I think it's
But,
dope. Even myself, I tapped into myself. Like I've tried some things I used to be like, man, I'm not gonna do that, or I talk myself out of it. But
mhm,
this year and moving forward, going forward, is about living fearless. That's why I got my shirt made by Callie Chaos. Shout out to her. Uh, It's all about living fearlessly,
Yeah,
not allowing yourself to talk you out of things or other people's fear to talk you out of things.
right,
So,
right.
it's beautiful. It's dope.
I had no idea. I got 4 books that's about to release now,
I listen, I was in the interview the other day. I was like, go ahead, bro.
and
Go
and
ahead.
and that's not even talking about the ones that I've started already. You know what I'm
Yes.
saying? That's not talking about the
Mhm.
videos. Comedian Stefan, what up? That's not talking about so many other things that I have already set. That's gonna happen
Yes.
when national the shit I'm hitting y'all with for National Poetry Month, and then
Ooh,
when I'm coming with
yes.
the
It's around the
summer,
corner.
like this is why I'm
I'm
starting
excited.
Self Love Tuesdays. When I start that, I want people.
Oh, I'm
Self
excited
Love
about
is
that.
basically
Self Love
about
Tuesdays.
gonna be so dope. That's gonna be about people actually learning how to journal themselves. And no matter how you do
Mm.
that, I want people to journal themselves. In fact, I'm probably because I'm creating I'm designing my own notepad and stuff like that.
Nice.
I'm going to be doing several things that's going to allow people to be a part of that. And I want people to when you journal about you, it's not even
It's
for you
different.
completely. Right. And then when you're now you're going to be somebody's ancestor at one day, at one point.
Right.
And somebody's going to say, "Hey, my great aunt, my great great grand aunt, my you know what I'm saying? Like there's all of these
Yeah.
that they're going to say, "You know what? I can do that."
Yep.
Or I can teach somebody about this. This is what we had roots. I always tell people this all the time. Roots was from um the slave owners side of the story
Mm-hmm.
because they weren't allowed to read and write. They couldn't leave stuff behind to tell people what they went through.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
How dare we not leave our stories behind for somebody else? To
Facts.
understand what it's like to live through this pandemic, to understand, you
Mm-hmm.
know what I'm saying, in this timing, how dare we not when our ancestors were forbidden to do it? It was illegal.
And the beauty of today is like every story, every walk of life is worth being told, no matter how minuscule or grand.
Hmm.
It's like you are worth being known,
Yeah.
whatever magnitude. Like you are worthy. That is like that has been the past year and some change, like a constant reminder of who I am, even as I go through, even if you're not valued in by your immediate circle or those you love and care about, like just taking that time to write it down, like you say, and to be present with self,
Yeah.
and not to make it all spiritual and whatnot. But when you're
It's always
present with
good.
self, you're present with God.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? If you're honest with yourself, the way you honest with God, you start to love yourself the way God loves you, and it changes the game.
Yeah.
It changes the
Hmm.
game. And I've always felt and believed, like I always would be like, I want to be an international influence. I want to be in every household from here to Kalamazoo.
Right.
And when all this stuff happened, it's like I see those opportunities now. It may not be in the form that I saw it, but it's happening.
Yeah.
And documenting those thoughts and those processes, it allows people to see and know, like, you know what? Yeah, they went through some hard times.
Hmm.
Everything is not going to be the best, but look what they accomplished
Yeah.
thereafter or within that same storm.
Yeah.
You look at someone and like, man, you look great, man. Your skin's glowing, you're this, and you don't understand what they had to go through from that coal to that diamond you see. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I don't know. I'm grateful and I'm glad that you are acknowledging self-love on my TikTok. I do a lot of that.
Okay.
Um, I try to encourage people because I'm like, people say like, how do you love yourself or whatever, whatever. I'm like, listen, when you hate yourself long enough, when you've told yourself everything that the world could tell you and more, and you believe it for so long, and then you finally wake up one day like, nah,
Yeah.
you start
Yeah.
to shift, you start to grow, you start to love yourself a little bit more.
Yeah.
The flaws ain't flaws. You know what I'm saying? Like those are your best parts. So I got a lot of love in me. Today was the perfect day to come on. Like you
Absolutely.
talking about
Nothing
self
by
love and
chance.
stuff like it resonates definitely.
Let me
Like
tell you, I was in a relationship that I didn't realize how it beat me up.
mm,
I didn't realize what the beatings were, right? I didn't realize how it took me so far. I mean, I didn't write in years. I mean, years until I ended up, getting hurt, and I didn't have anything else, and I couldn't go to
mhm,
the person I was with and talk to them. It wasn't there. It just was not. There was no availability for me and what I was going through.
mhm,
And I'm saying,
mhm.
how do you want me to show up for you, and I'm not even allowed to show up for me? And I didn't understand that.
Woo!
So I had to live through.
Word.
Listen, I had to live through it, and I took my pen and I put it on a piece of paper, and here we are. It's almost 8 years. And what I've grown in 8 years, I haven't seen in the 48 that I've been walking on this planet. It's like 40 years, I missed everything.
Mhm,
And then I
mhm.
said to myself, damn, bro, I almost died at 19.
Yeah.
Okay. And had that happened, I'm not here. So from 19 to 48, what have I done? What have I said?
Mhm,
You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
I had to
mhm.
look at that. In this 8 year tenure, I can be proud of what I've done, what I've said, who I've helped, who I've reached out to.
That's
And
important when you say you can be proud of what you've done,
yeah,
because it means you're walking in your truth, you're walking in your light. You know, if you look upon anything with shame, regret, or guilt, then what are you doing? You know,
yeah,
so that's a profound word there,
yeah.
definitely.
It was a ride though. It was a ride. It was a ride. But I weathered the
Mhm.
storm. We weathered the storm. We weathered it. We're here, right?
Yes,
I've witnessed your storms, some of them, right? And like
yeah,
I said, I didn't understand your true testimony to what I'm saying. It's not for me to understand what you went through. It's for me to respect what you had to do for you. And
yeah.
I think most of the time we miss that because we're so busy. I can do this for you, and I can't. No,
Right,
that's
right.
what
No,
you
that's ooh. Jai, you tapping on it.
listen. No, lovely.
It's real.
Listen. When I wrote this book for my daughter, I tell people all the time. I wrote this book because I was trying to keep my baby girl alive.
Ashe,
Nothing
yeah.
else mattered. I wanted her to be here.
Mhm,
And so what I put in this book wasn't for nothing else outside of that because I didn't know it was going to be a book.
mhm,
And
mhm.
then when I realized this was like scripture, not equaling it to being God's, but God was present in it because when people read it, it touched them. I want fathers reading this to their daughters and uncles reading it,
Right.
grandfathers reading to their grandbabies. I'm going to make that happen. I'm going
Yeah.
to make that possible. But had I not went through what I went through with my daughter, right? Had I not known that, that book may have never been, right?
So
And I
true.
wouldn't know how to love like I love now.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And it's a lot of stuff people don't realize. Like when you're writing it for yourself, it's always for somebody else. For one, you
always.
know, and sometimes like it blows my mind sometimes when someone buys like one of my earlier books and like something from back then resonates with them and it makes me go back to that space. Sometimes you forget how much you've endured or grown or
Mhm.
whatever, but seeing that it's doing what you put it out there to do, like touch lives, reach people. It may not be every poem in the book, but it might be a line, a word, or something that hits you and wants to make you a better person or helps you through a situation. I
Mhm.
love it because that book for your daughter, because it's like there's a lot of people that don't know their fathers, men and women,
Yeah.
you know, or don't have that strong bond or can't call them. You know, I am grateful for my relationship as an adult with my dad,
Mhm.
something I didn't quite have in my youth because I didn't even know I could. I didn't
Mhm.
find out till I was adult that I could have always came to my father, but I
Mhm.
didn't know that. You know what I'm saying? So I'm appreciative of your book and the fact that you are mindful of who she is, the woman that she is to become, and loving her through her darkness. Man, when I tell you, that's a love unlike any other. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm trying not
listen,
to get emotional here.
listen.
Love, let me tell you something. That look at the baby.
She wanted to be a part of this moment.
My daughter, well, and feeling the energy. That's why. Okay, here I come. My daughter,
Both of them.
after that book, she said to me, she said, "Dad, you did the one thing that I needed everybody to do, and that was just
Mhm.
listen without trying to answer questions that I needed to find answers to." Now, mind, she's 20 now. She just turned 20, which I'm still
My
blown, right?
gosh.
But she said that,
Ah.
and then it made everything that I wrote in that book that much more important because I didn't ask her how you doing by saying how you doing. I said I love you enough for you to know I want to know how you're doing today without me
Mhm.
having to ask. So a lot of
Showing up is like
showing
this
up.
listen, sometimes, and I try to tell people, like, sometimes it ain't about coming and giving advice. It ain't about trying to do anything extra. It's just showing up. That has been the one thing in the last few months, if never before. Uh, just showing up has been the most healing thing for the people I've engaged with. We don't
Mhm.
have to say no words. You know you're loved because I showed up.
I'm trying
You
not to
know,
get emotional here.
like I'm here for it. Like, and I'm talking about, I don't know what it is, and I know time is ticking, but
I'm
like
fine.
in the past few months, I've randomly come across either friends or strangers that were like in that moment of deciding life or death, and or having already chose the latter.
Yeah.
And it's like you go and you sit with them, you hug them, you love them, you take 2 minutes to see them, and in that space there's a shift, and that little bit of love sparks life in them. And I'm grateful because I know the moments I was in those spaces, and the
Mhm.
people, I'm getting emotional, woo,
Yeah.
the people that showed up, like the people that showed up, whether it's family, loved ones, close friends, those people I'm most grateful for, because no matter how many times you end up in that space, when someone shows up,
Yeah.
it reminds you that you're loved. It reminds you that you're worthy, that you are valued. And that's important.
Yeah.
That is so important. Like, whew,
You know how many
that is
times?
important.
Think about this, right? I'm gonna use me. I'm not even gonna talk to nobody else. How many times at Say Word Tuesdays y'all showed up for me? I
I
was
should.
down.
Yeah.
I'm hosting and crying, right? And then
Mm,
everybody's at the front of the spot and we just hugging. It's just like 15, 20 of us on the freaking stage. The mic
yes.
is there and we just loving.
Yeah.
I'll never forget those moments. When my ex passed away, y'all did that for me. My uncle passed away, y'all did it for me. Um oh man, it was so many different times that I was
Yeah.
just and y'all were there. And we was there for each
Mhm.
other, right? But yeah.
Yes. I'm here for it because, like, uh, that's one thing I love about poetry and the poetry family. Like, we may have our differences, we may have our little qualms, as qualms meaning like who's supporting who and all that jazz. But like when it comes down to the love, and like the other day, just getting a hug, shout out to Superman. I got a hug from Superman, and I showed up to the space because of Abstract. Like I was like, Abstract, shout out to him, I like him, whatever. But like just knowing that you can just get a hug from them, from whoever in the poetry family, and you know it's real. So many
Mhm.
times I'll be having a night because of what's going on, being a caregiver, it's a lot. And
Mhm.
I'll show up to y'all and I get to cut up, I get to let my hair down and hit my yes and all that, in the background,
Our time is
like,
running. We got like a few seconds, so let me end it
I
out.
love
But
you.
I love you so much. Thank y'all for tuning in. You know, this coffee time with Coach Jah. I got the one and only Lovely in the building. Listen, find a way to love yourself today because nobody can love you like you. I challenge you to be better today than you were yesterday. You have everything you need to be amazing. So go ahead and be amazing today. I'll see y'all tomorrow morning, same time, same channel. Peace and love.